Okay, so it's day 3 of the festival, and I thought I'd do a very quick update because it's nice and early here and I am absolutely buzzing for day 3. Mainly because yesterday, day 2, was a very good day for me. In fact, it was probably the second best day I've ever had. So hopefully day 3 is very similar to that. The reason I think that it was such a good day for me was because I went into it open-minded, I didn't expect too much, and I didn't really push the boundaries. And that sounds a little bit, well, it sounds contradictory to what you might expect, if I'm quite honest. But I've found over time, psychologically, when trading and betting at Cheltenham and all that kind of stuff, that the harder you push, the more pressure you put on yourself, the more of a frustrating time of it you have. So by going into it expecting almost nothing from it is the best thing you could possibly do. Obviously you still need to stake up in the right points, you need to go for it when the opportunity is there, but you can't try and create the opportunity in your mind, which I think is what a lot of people are guilty of at the Cheltenham Festival. So today's a big day. There's going to be some high quality premium races on. There's going to be huge volumes turned over. It's going to be a real blinder, particularly if you're scalping in the markets and exploiting very short term price movements and turnover. So look out for that. And I think really the one thing that I just wanted to say is don't go too hard on yourself. In previous years I've pushed too hard too early, and you know, if you're used to making sort of like 10, 15, 20 pound a race, and then you go into the Cheltenham Festival for the 1 week of the year, and by default you're able to turn over a lot more and use larger stakes, which is half of the upside to Cheltenham really, then it becomes more confusing for you in terms of pressure and mentality, because you go from making 10, 15, 20 quid a race and losing some obviously as well, because don't win every single race. In fact, yesterday I did have a higher strike rate than normal, but you know, I still lost in 2 races. But you go from doing 10, 15, 20 quid, and then the default is, you know, 50, 80, 100 quid a race, and that's losses too. So you have more of this roller coaster emotionally, which is where I think a lot of the problems come from for people that are trading Cheltenham, particularly people that are trading Cheltenham for the first time, because 1 second you're all euphoric and excited because you've made more profit than normal, and then the next second you're on an all-time low because you've had a bigger loss than normal. And if you haven't got if you haven't got the resilience to sit out those bumps and not let them bother you, or you find that hard, which is completely natural, then it becomes more of a frustrating experience. And the sad thing is, the frustration and stuff isn't really there. It's just you fighting against yourself, trying to produce something from a situation that isn't really a problem. Basically, your self-created problems. So look out for that. It's going to be a blinder. Work into it slowly. Start on small stakes is always the advice at Cheltenham. Every year you see it. People start on like the 2 p.m. races, the earlier races, pushing hard, and then by the time they get to the Gold Cup, they are not in the best place possible. You want to do the complete opposite for that. And also, don't berate yourself so much if you don't make the amount of profit that you expected to make, because you know, it's half chance to one degree or another. It's like, you know, you've only got like 6 races throughout the day where you can turn over drastically larger amounts, and I bang on about this one, and it's because it's really important. But the races in between, the filler races as I call them, because they're not the races that everybody are interested in today, but the races on the cards in between the Cheltenham races, be very careful. You can make a killing in them sometimes, particularly when you see someone else in a panic, okay, which is just a sad reality of trading. I say it's sad, but you know, we're all adults. We'll come to the market with the same realizations and in the same marketplace, but you know, some people lose, and you can make more money from some of those situations if you sit and you're very careful. But what you don't want to be is the person losing. You don't want to be the person chasing the price away from you because you staked £1,000 on a lower quality race in between, when really you should have only staked 400. Okay, so be very careful on the filler races in between, and above all else, make sure you've learned something from it, because Cheltenham trades very differently. The higher volumes change the situation, and next time, you know, next year, if you're still here trading, then you will be far better off for it. And also, it's not just Cheltenham really that this sort of thing happens. Ascot can be a little bit similar. It's obviously increased volumes too, so it's not the only week of the year where you get this kind of opportunity. It is, you know, specifically it's the only year, but there are very similar situations too. So other than that, keep smiling, enjoy it, enjoy the spectacle, and good luck.